All right, just want to repeat. So welcome again for joining us for the ADRC Advisory Committee membership orientation. Just before, I just want to say again, congratulations on all your appointments to our committee, our new class starting in January of 2023. The purpose of this orientation is really just to give everyone the opportunity to meet one another, put a face to the names, learn about the committee, and also ask any questions that you have. So we'll be spending the next hour and a half with each other. So feel free to, again, just raise your hands, unmute, chime in, ask questions at any time. We're keeping it real informal. And if you're calling in by phone, in case you are, it's *6 to mute and unmute. We do have closed captioning enabled. Thank you, Mylene, if I haven't done that so already. And we also have our ASL interpreters with us today as well. In addition, lastly, this meeting is being recorded, so we'll be sending this recording out to all our members. For those that missed it or want to view this again for reference, we'll be doing that. Let me go ahead and share my screen of the agenda that we have for today. Okay, can I get a thumbs up if everyone's able to see the agenda? Great, I see some thumbs up, thank you. So our agenda, we have, again, for the next hour and a half, we have first our CDA directors welcome. Then we're gonna go into introduction of all the members and also our ex officio members. Then we're gonna announce the co-chairs of the advisory committee. Fourth, we'll be discussing our committee meeting calendar for 2023. Fifth, we'll go into the meat and potatoes of our orientation today by going over really just the high level of the orientation in hopes that everyone has gotten a chance to look at the briefing materials already. Six, we'll be going over the committee work plan, or not the new work plan, but the previous work plan, just to kind of give you a reference of the work plan that the committee does put together eventually. And then seventh, we have plenty of time for open discussion, but we also have time for open discussion and questions during each of these agenda items. So again, feel free to chime in, unmute yourself, or even feel free to raise your hand if you wish to. But with that, I think that covers all the orientation items. I do want to introduce for our next item, our CDA director, Susan DeMorris, for a few words. Hi, Susan.
Hi, Wilson, and thank you. And congratulations to all of our new ADRC members and our returning members. We're just so grateful that all of you took an interest in this committee, that you took the time to apply and to be interviewed, and you were selected as 17 of 19 new members. We had over 55 applicants. So it was a very competitive field, and each of you was selected for particular reasons, because each of you brings particular strengths and assets and value and contributions to this group. We're excited to work with you in the coming year. Appreciate you taking time for today's orientation. You got to meet our incredible ADRC staff as part of your application and interview process. We're very fortunate here at CDA to have a wonderful team working on this program, and you'll get to know them all very well in your role as advisory committee members. So just two messages I wanted to convey to all of you is, the first is the Aging and Disability Resource Connection model is integral to the department and the Health and Human Service Agency and California's future success. You are part of our strategic plan as a department, part of our state plan on aging that we submit to the federal government, and part of the master plan for aging. So this is not just a side initiative. This is a core, central, and integral initiative that's part of our current delivery system and will be an even bigger part of our future delivery system. So the work that you'll do on this committee is very important to CDA, to the Secretary of Health and Human Services, Dr. Mark Galley, and to our governor as we roll out the master plan for aging. And then we have many stakeholder committees in state government, and I just want to emphasize how important your voices, your experiences, and your perspectives are to our work. The master plan for aging was started by stakeholders. It was a grassroots movement. It started with an effort called We Stand with Seniors. They went on the campaign trail and asked everyone 4 years ago running for governor, would you commit to a master plan for aging if you're elected? Turns out Governor Newsom was elected. He took that pledge and he made it happen by executive order. And one of the first things he did, while the title of the master plan for aging is aging, it was expanded to include aging and disability. We're very committed to the integration and inclusion of aging and disability in tandem and in partnership, and you are an important piece of that. So we're so glad to have this advisory committee. One of our core values at the Health and Human Services Agency is active listening. So we hope to share information with all of you, to be good advisors to you, but in turn, to make sure that we're listening and that you're being heard. So the advisory committee meetings are just one way for you to be heard. I hope you'll find the CDA staff to be very accessible by email and by phone in between meetings. So please use your voices and keep us on track as we expand the ADRC model statewide. So again, congratulations on being selected. Welcome to the committee. You'll get to know all of us over the course of your time with us, and I'll turn it back to Wilson.
Great, thank you, Susan. Our next item is introduction of members. So again, this is a great opportunity for all of us to meet one another and again, put a face to the names. So this is how we're going to do it is very similar to how we do it for our regular committee meetings as part of our roll call. And so I will be introducing members based on their representation on the committee. As everyone's aware, we have independent living center representatives. We have AAA area agency on aging representatives. I'll try my best to avoid acronyms. My apologies. We also have consumer caregiver representatives, as well as our other long-term services and supports representatives. So with that, I'll kind of give intro to the format of that we typically use. We typically try to keep it within 15 seconds. Name, your title, and your affiliation, whether it's your organization name, caregiver, or consumer. And plus, we're going to add in one extra bonus question for today, is an icebreaker question. The question is, what are you most thankful for in 2022? So I'll start off with myself. I'm Wilson Tam. I am the chief of the ADRC Bureau here at the Department of Aging. What I'm most thankful for so far in 2022 is my baby girl, who is 8 months old. Her first words were "Dada." So I rubbed it into my wife's face. Although our son did say "Mama" first, so it's only fair. So with that, I'll go ahead and introduce the 19 members that we have on the committee, and then we'll go forward to our ex officio members. With our 19 members, we'll start with the Independent Living Center representatives. As I read off the names, please correct me if I mispronounce your name. This is a great opportunity for that because I don't want to mispronounce it during our public meetings. So I'm going to make careful notes to make sure I pronounce it right the next time. So do let me know if I mispronounce it. Again, starting with our first Independent Living Center representative in alphabetical order, we have Carl Sigmund from Freed.
You put me on the spot, Wilson.
Carl Sigmund. representing ILCs and I'm also a consumer.
I'm Carl Figmund at Freed, representing ILCs, and I'm also a consumer.
And there's hard to pick just one thing, but I'm grateful for the power that comes from collective advocacy.
And it's hard to pick just one thing, but I'm grateful for the power that comes from, say again, Carl, what type of advocacy?
Collective.
Collective. I'm grateful for the power that comes from collective advocacy.
Thank you very much, Carl. And thank you for being the one to start things off for us too. So just noted for our actual advisory committee meetings too, you'll be the very first one that we're going to start off with. It's going to be the exact same order. So you get the honors of doing that. Thank you. Our second ILC representative is Eli Gillardin from the Marin Center for Independent Living. Good afternoon, Eli.
Thank you, Wilson. Carl, great introduction. Great to see you all. Eli Gillardin, Marin Center for Independent Living, Marin's One Door, CEO, Executive Director, Chief Troublemaker, whatever you want to call me. And I'm grateful for so many things this past year, starting with my 8-year-old able to get through Little League, only crying once again, and also able to get through a significant medical procedure and come out the other end in good shape. So very, very deeply grateful for both of those, and on the services side, just incredibly proud of our team in Marin, both on the Independent Living Center side and the AAA side, for all the work they've done to support our community during these really intense times.
Thank you very much, Eli. Next, we have Larry Grable from the Service Center for Independent Life.
Hi, and thank you. And it's a pleasure getting to be here and becoming part of this commission. Larry Grable, I'm the Executive Director of Service Center for Independent Life in Eastern LA County. And I am definitely most thankful for the creation and the starting of the LA County ADRC.
Very, very exciting, Larry. Thank you. Next, we have our last but not least ILC representative, Letty Zuno from Access to Independence.
I am Letty Zuno. I'm the Executive Director of Access to Independence, San Diego and Hawaii. And I am thankful this year for a few things, for health overall. It's been a tough couple of years with COVID and the pandemic, and we've seen many, many people not navigate that safely and with full health. So I'm grateful to be here today and healthy and be able to just be in meetings and continue the work that we do. I continue to be grateful for my grandbaby that she lives in Idaho. I see her very infrequently, and she was born during COVID. And so my fear was always that she would see me in person and not take to me. And I got to see her once this year, and she knew exactly who I was. And so it always makes me want to cry. And I am grateful for, after many, many years, on a very personal note, I got married this year, very, very recently. So for some of those of you that navigated with this phase in my life this year, I'm very thankful to have this newness in my life. Thank you.
Thank you very, very much, Letty, and congratulations on getting married and on your grandbaby as well. Next, we have our Area Agency on Aging representatives. We also have 4, starting with Cindy Kaufman from the San Francisco Department of Disability and Aging Services.
Thank you, Wilson. So I don't have to see where I'm from because Wilson just did it for me. And I am very excited to be here. I guess one thing that I am very grateful for is I get to see my child for the holidays this year. They moved with their partner to North Carolina a year and a half ago, and we were supposed to visit, and that got cut short. So they will be here on Sunday, and I'm looking forward to that.
Terrific. Thank you, Cindy. Next, we have Elaine Clark from the Napa Solano Area Agency on Aging.
Hi, thank you. I'm, grateful for so many things. My family is all coming together as well for the holidays. First, we're going up to Oregon to see my sister, and then our two grandbabies and their parents are coming to our house, and we're all going to get together. But really thankful that we have good health, that despite all of the traumas in the last 3 years now, that everybody is doing well and we're pulling together. And I think this is making our family even closer. So just really grateful for everything that we have.
Thank you, Elaine. Next, we have Joe Covery from Passages.
Hi, Joe Covery, Director of Passages. We serve 5 Northern California counties: Butte, Colusa, Glenn, Plumas, and Tehama. What I am grateful for in the most immediate is I have 2 parents, ages 93 and 92, who are successful examples of positive aging, living independently. And immediately following this meeting, I'm making the 7.5, 8-hour drive down to Los Angeles to spend the weekend with them. So.
Great. Safe travels, Joe. That's a drive. Next, we have, last but not least, for AAA representatives, Victoria Jump from the Ventura County Area Agency on Aging.
Hello, everyone. I guess I'm grateful that I have the opportunity to do what I do every single day, and make a difference in the lives of others. And I'm grateful that, that the state, sees the importance of people, older adults and people with disabilities being able to age with dignity in their homes, and putting together committees like this where we can make a difference and build something better for, for our community. So thank you.
Thank you, Victoria. We have next our consumer caregiver representatives, and we have 5, starting with Andrea Dubrow.
Hi, thank you. Nice to meet you all. Nice to be here. I'm here on behalf really of the work that I do as a caregiver for my mom, who's living with late-stage Alzheimer's disease. And I also have a sister with severe disabilities. So kind of wearing both hats in that mindset, but really what brought me here was the work that I do on behalf of my mom. I'm also a social worker and public health person, but in my caregiver role here. And something I'm grateful for is I did need to move my mom this fall from one facility to another. And I'm grateful that the move has been completed and was successful and that she's settling in. And I'm grateful for some family medical leave time that allowed me some time off from my job so that I could attend to her needs and really be there for her. So thank you for having me.
Thank you, Andrea. And next we have Cindy Soto.
Hello, everyone. I have been a consumer of LTSS since the 1970s, and I am grateful for the tremendous support system I have so that I can remain independent, healthy, and safe, and happy in my own home. Thank you.
Thank you, Cindy. Next we have Darlene Yee Melikar.
Thank you, Wilson. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm delighted to be here today as a caregiver consumer advocate, as well as a gerontologist still working as a professor and coordinator of gerontology at San Francisco State University. In 2022, I'm very thankful to continue my work to help improve the lives of aging and disabled adults and assist their families, including my own. I will say that I am very grateful to work with my siblings and help care for our 86-year-old mom and extended family members who are aging in place. My mom during COVID-19 was diagnosed with warm autoimmune hemolytic anemia, and she had to have weekly infusion therapy. And we are so grateful to be able to work with the long-term services and supports that she was able to use. And I am just so grateful I'm honored to be here as part of such exemplary colleagues. You know, I reviewed what bios I could find of all of you, and I am just so impressed with this group of people. And I look forward to working with all of you and building upon what is already impressive achievements that this group has already completed. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Darlene. And next we have Erin Crutcher.
Hi, thank you, Wilson. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Erin Crutcher. I'm a consumer and caregiver advocate on this committee. I'm also a gerontologist, so it's really nice to meet the last advocate as well. In 2022, I'm most grateful that I survived COVID twice against most odds stacked against me, and that I've recovered from all the complications, and I get to serve on this great committee again. So thank you for letting me be of service.
Thank you, Erin. It's so good to see you. And next we have Tammy Harsh, who is a caregiver representative. She's also employed with the Kern County Independent Living Center. Unfortunately, she couldn't be here due to illness. However, she does want to tell everyone that she said hi and looking forward to meeting everyone in January. That's for our next 6 members will be our long-term services and supports representatives, starting with Gabriel Rogan from the North Bay Regional Center.
Hi, everyone. Happy to be here. Gabriel Rogan, Executive Director of North Bay Regional Center, and we support people with developmental disabilities and their families in Napa, Solano, and Sonoma counties. And I'm grateful for many things in 2022, but I'm going to pick my son successfully transitioning to high school and making the basketball team.
That's great.
Thank you. Congratulations to your son. Next, we have Helen Lopez with the California Senior Legislature.
Thanks, Wilson. I am also a board member of the Area Agency on Aging in Imperial County, and that's the CSL district that I serve. I'm a senator for PSA 24. I am thankful for so many things in 2022. It's hard to pick one. Certainly, it was great to be able to get back on the road and travel. I think I missed that most during COVID. And miracle of miracles, both my husband and myself, despite our return to travel, have both avoided COVID. I don't know how, but we have, and it may be the 7 vaccinations that I've gotten. I'm not sure. We started with a research study, and we just kept going. So, you know, I'll keep getting more if they keep giving them. I'm also thankful with Letty Zuno that we were in Imperial County finally able to kick off our own ADRC, which we're working on, and it's a journey, but we're getting there. So I'm glad we were able to kickstart that this year.
Thank you, Helen. And next we have Kelly Takasu.
Hi, everyone. I'm Kelly Takasu. I'm the Public Policy Manager at Alzheimer's Los Angeles. And on a professional side, I'm very grateful that here in LA County, we finally have a standalone Department of Aging. And on a personal side, I am very grateful for all of the COVID vaccines I've also had because it allowed us to travel to Japan so my daughter could meet her great-grandmother for the first time. And I'm also grateful for the vaccine because we unfortunately got COVID on the trip, and I think without the vaccine, it would have been a lot worse. So I'm grateful that my daughter was able to get the vaccine and go back to daycare after a week and a half of sickness. And so I'm just very grateful for everything that our state has invested so that I can take the time off to care for her and not have to worry about that. So very grateful for our state. Thank you.
Thank you, Kelly. Next, we have Raymond Costelblanc. I hope I pronounced your name
Oh,
correctly.
hey, how you doing? How you doing there? It's Ramon.
Ramon.
Yeah, Ramon Costelblanc. I am with California Alliance for Retired Americans, also a professor emeritus of public health at San Francisco State. I was just taking a walk on a public beach right before this meeting, and I'm grateful that there are public beaches and that this is a resource that folks have.
Thank you, Ramon. And next we have Rita Sayens.
You got it. That's
Yes.
it. Well, I'm Rita Sayens. I'm a commissioner on the California Commission on Aging. I'm also a special advisor to AARP's Executive Council. And what I'm grateful for, it's been an interesting year. I'm really grateful to have been able to come back to this work after not being able to do it for about a year. I feel so much potential. I'm 73 years old. I've been a part of a lot of movements in California, and I just have so much faith that we are going to achieve what it is that we want to do, because of all of the advocates, because of the leadership at CDA and at Health and Human Services and the governor's own support. On a personal level, I was really glad to be able to this year to serve as a caregiver to my brother-in-law and my sister. And it was a very rewarding experience. So I'm just glad to be here among those people who, you know, have, along with me, been doing this for years and see light at the end of the tunnel.
Thank you, Rita. And to round out our 19 members, we have Sherry Rosler.
Hi, everyone. I'm Sherry Raisler with Society for the Blind, and grateful that I celebrated 10 years at Society earlier this year, and all the great people there, and grateful to be part of this group. And personally, I'm grateful for all the great retinal care in our region that restored the vision in my left eye earlier this year. So great to be with you all.
Thank you, Sherry. And next we have our ex officio members. I'll read them off based on the acronyms in alphabetical order, starting with C4A, California Association of Area Agencies on Aging.
Thanks, Wilson. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Michael Costa, and I'm the Executive Director of C4A. And I have to say, my organization represents all 33 AAAs in California. And it's my privilege over this past year to be able to work with leaders from all of those organizations who I think are doing fantastic work. And it's kind of a pleasure to work with them. And also with our external allies and colleagues from other organizations, ILCs, the State Department of Aging, Meals on Wheels California, and others. It's just been a pleasure to be able to work with such a talented group of folks.
Thank you, Michael. Next, we have CalVet, California Department of Veterans Affairs.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Roberto Herrera. I'm Assistant Deputy Secretary in the Veteran Services Division at CalVet. And, you know, one thing about the veteran population that kind of surprises people is, you know, nearly 60% of our state's 1.6 million veterans are 55 and over. So being able to participate on advisory committees such as this, we view it as a huge plus at CalVet, and looking forward to the next year and working with all of you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Roberto. And next we have CCOA, California Commission on Aging.
Hi, everyone. My name is Carol Swartzlander. I'm the Executive Director of the Commission. The Commission serves as the principal advocate for older adults established in statute. And I have 18 commissioners, one of which is now on the ADRC Advisory Committee. Thrilled to see you here, Rita. What I'm most grateful for is taking almost doubling my staff from 3 full-time employees to 5 full-time employees and a part-time consultant. So I'm so excited to see what we can accomplish next year.
Congratulations, Carol. Now
Thank
we're
you.
expecting double the amount of work, right, being done. Next, we have CDA, California Department of Aging. I think Susan introduced herself. Mark, if you wish to
Yeah,
introduce
I'll
yourself.
go. I'll go now. Yeah, thank you, Wilson. Mark Beckley, Chief Deputy Director for the California Department of Aging. Nice to meet so many new members to the advisory committee as well as returning members. So welcome. And for 2022 on a professional level, I'm very grateful for all the new funding that CDA received to initiate a series of initiatives that will eventually help older adults and persons with disabilities. So very grateful for that. On a personal level, very grateful for my wife's health. She went through some health issues this past year, but she's doing a lot better now. So very grateful for that.
Thank you, Mark. Very good to hear that. Unfortunately, Suteb had to jump off. Suteb Lahavanic, he's our Deputy Director for Programs at the Department of Aging, but you will see him in our January meeting. I want to take this opportunity as well to do real quick introductions. We have 6 other members of our ADRC Bureau team here. So I'm just going to read off their names. If you don't mind just saying hello, that would be great. We have Amanda Price. Amanda, are you here?
Hello, good to see you all.
Thank you, Amanda. Just so the committee will be working very closely with the ADRC Bureau team, so just putting a name to the faces. Next, we have Jeanette Fong.
Hi, everybody. I look forward to working with everybody.
Thank you. Next, we have Mylene Ikmat. You're on mute, Mylene.
Hi, everyone. I'm glad to be here and I'm glad to meet everybody.
Thank you. Next, we have Carol DeAndreas.
Hi, everyone. I'm Carol DeAndres, and it's great to be here and happy holidays.
Thank you. Next, we have Alex Griffiths.
Hello, everyone. I'm Alex. It's great to see you all.
Thank you. And last but not least, we have Jackie.
Hi, everyone. My name's Jackie. I'm so happy to be here and can't wait to meet you guys all in our work groups. Thanks.
Thank you, team. Next, we have CFILC, the California Foundation for Independent Living Centers.
Hi, I'm Bob Hand. I'm the interim executive director. I'm thankful that I do get to work with such a wide variety of centers. We have 25 independent living centers, and I also work with other groups. Personally, I'm grateful that my son and his fiance, who both went to school back east and got their law degrees, have decided to take jobs here in California. So we get to see them more often.
Thank you, Bob. Very good to hear. Next, we have our DDS, California Department of Developmental Services. However, I don't see Leilani Walter, who is typically the representative for DDS. So if Leilani jumps in, if you can let me know, that'd be great. Next on our list, DHCS, California Department of Healthcare Services.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Nicole Kessel, and I am the Home and Community-Based Services Policy Branch Chief. About 2.5 months into my new role within the department, and excited to be here with so many people involved in the community that our programs are focused on serving. And as far as what I'm grateful for, I think like many others here, seeing my family come through safely through the PHE and recognizing that going through virtual kindergarten and halfway virtual first grade can be a challenge, but we are in it as a community, not just, in our family or our neighborhoods, but all of us have lived through this weird time that we're in and doing the best we can. And it seems like, based on my experience, there's a lot of compassion shown towards one another because of our shared experience. So I am grateful for that.
Thank you, Nicole. I also see Marion here. Marion, did you want to introduce yourself as well?
Yeah,
Yes, hello. My name is Marian Rinko, and I am the CCT Program State Project Director. And I am thankful for the family and friends that we have and our good health. And I am also thankful for the family and friends that did contract COVID and that they all made it through healthy without any long COVID. And we're definitely grateful for that.
Thank you, Marian. Next, we have DOR, California Department of Rehabilitation.
Good afternoon, everyone. Anna Acton, Deputy Director for the Independent Living and Community Access Division. And really great to be here with you. I want to start by saying I'm grateful for my family. I have a 10-year-old son. He's playing soccer right now, loves mountain bikes, and is just really a really sweet person from the inside out. And so really thankful for him. But I also am thankful for all of you. Each and every one of you, many of your faces I know, some are new, but the work that you do to improve the lives of people with disabilities and older adults, I'm thankful for my partnership here with the other state departments as well, and the work we do collectively, and I appreciate all of you. Thank you. And I'll hand it over to Megan.
Hi, everyone. Megan Sampson, Chief of Independent Living and Assistive Technology at DOR. Like Anna, I am very grateful and thankful for all of you. Working in partnership with you guys is just one of our favorite things to do. And I'm grateful to see the end of this year. This year has been crazy and wonderful and terrifying all at once. But we've done it, we made it. And I'm excited to see what we do together in this coming year. So thank you for having us here.
Thank you, Anna. Thank you, Megan. And last but not least, we have SILC or SILC, State Independent Living Council. Typically, Carrie Inklin represents SILC. However, I don't see her name. So if she does join us or somebody else joins us, team, please do let me know. Just a heads up that we have asked each member for their bios as well. And so as soon as we get everyone's bios, we'll be sending that out to everybody so that way you can get to know each other a little bit more. We'll go ahead and move on to our next item on the agenda, and that is the announcement of our committee chairs. So as part of our committee charter, we do have C4A and CFILC selecting a chair, a AAA representative, and one ILC representative as co-chairs for this committee. So I'm actually going to turn it over to C4A, Michael Casa, and CFILC, Bob Hand, to make their announcement. So I'll let you both decide who wants to go first.
Go ahead, Bob.
Thank you. Well, our committee co-chair is the same one that it has been, Eli Gillardin from the Marin County Independent Living Center.
Yes.
Back to you.
Okay, thank you. And since this is proving to be an announcement with no surprises, C4A's nomination is to continue with Victoria Jump as the AAA representative and co-chair. We feel she's done a dynamite job and we don't want to let her go, frankly.
Thank you very much to Bob and Michael for the announcement, and then congratulations to Eli and Victoria Jump. Either of you want to say a few words or anything? Not to put you on the spot or anything.
No, just happy to continue the work. Looking forward to working with, everyone on this committee. Glad we have more C4A and ILC and consumer reps as well. So looking forward to continuing our great work.
And I believe Eli had to drop out of the meeting. Seems like I saw that in chat.
Thank you, Bob. Okay, great. And so we'll be working closely with our chairs to start crafting the agenda for our January meeting, which is right around the corner, right after the holidays. So thank you and congratulations again. Our next item on the list is going to be our committee meeting calendar for 2023. With that, I will share my screen. This was sent out to everybody. This is currently the draft calendar. Just again, want to share this again, get everyone's input. So after talking with our chairs, Eli and Victoria, we're proposing for our meetings to continue to be the third Fridays of every month on the odd months. So January, March, May, so on and so forth. And our new meeting time would be 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Well, let me take a step back real quick. So if we're going to have in-person meetings, we will be offering 10 to 2. Reason being that will give people more time to travel in case they need to travel to in-person meetings. If we don't have any in-person meetings, it would be 9 to 12. In 2023, we are proposing that the January meeting be a virtual meeting. And for the March and beyond meetings, so that's March, May, July, September, and November, would be hybrid. So it could be attended by virtually or in person. And that location is yet to be determined, but it will be somewhere in Sacramento. So most likely in the downtown or Natomas area. Just want to kind of open it up to see if there's any thoughts regarding the calendar. I do see Darlene's hand up. Darlene? Oh, you're on mute, Darlene.
Thank you, Wilson, and thank you for sharing this calendar of meetings with us. Knowing the dates is really helpful, and given the time, whether it's 9 to 12 or 10 to 2 is helpful. I wonder if you can comment on the actual permanent schedule. The reason why I ask is if we have the option of attending in-person meetings or actually zooming in on hybrid meetings. I just like to kind of know, because then I can schedule meetings either before 10 or after 2. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, we're hoping to confirm that today, right now on the spot. So hoping that, and just want to kind of hear any thoughts that our members might have. So to answer your question, Darlene, we're hoping to confirm that today, so that way you can plan around the schedule.
That would be great. Thank you.
Thank you. I see Letty's hand up.
Thank you. And maybe it was just similar to the question just asked. But I think I'm understanding that we're going to use this time to decide whether we meet in person or continue meeting virtually, right?
Yes, correct.
Okay. And okay, so we will know today. That way, for me, I can like plan in advance, because there would be travel. And by the way, I'm all for meeting in person. Again, I think that makes for a little more dynamic meetings and makes them a little more productive, in my opinion.
Thank you, Letty. Gabriel, I see your hand up.
I'm all for in-person meetings as well. I agree they're more productive. Unfortunately, that meeting schedule happens to conflict with other things for me. So to the extent a hybrid option could be made available, it would help me juggle different things on the same day. I don't want to make this all about me, but that's just the nature of my schedule. So if they are in person only, it makes it harder to do two things in the same day. If they're hybrid, then you can get a little more creative with your schedule.
Got it. Thank you for your feedback, Gabriel. Any other thoughts? Carl, I see your hand up.
I would echo what Gabriel just said.
I would echo what Gabriel just said.
I have seen hybrid meetings very, very effective. And it's also, it can be more accessible for some folks.
I've seen hybrid meetings be very effective, and it can also be more accessible for some folks.
And reduce our collective carbon footprint.
And reduce our collective carbon footprint.
So, yes, my opinion.
So that's my opinion.
Thank you, Carl, for your valuable opinion.
This is Helen. I kind of echo everything everybody else is saying. Meeting schedules work fine for me because I've been doing it for a couple of years, so kind of slides right into my schedule. I really like the hybrid model, and I'm sort of advocating for that in the world for reasons of accessibility, and also it allows flexibility for individuals who do more than one thing at a time. So I would certainly support the hybrid model. A little bit of clarification. Are we talking just about the full committee meetings, or are we also talking about committee meetings in terms of work group meetings in terms of the eventual hybrid model, or is that a separate discussion? Where are we with that?
Great question, Helen. We're right now just talking about the committee meetings. However, for those that are new to the committee does break up into work groups to focus on specific projects and deliverables. And so those work groups typically meet on a monthly basis. For those work groups, we'll let the work groups decide for themselves whether they want to meet virtual or in a hybrid option. And we can work it out work group by work group basis. Hope that answers your question, Helen. We have Cindy, your hand's up. Hi, Cindy.
Hi, I'm in Los Angeles and I am not able to fly, so I would have to do virtual no matter what. Thank you.
Thank you, Cindy. Any other thoughts or feedback? Okay, so just to recap, to summarize, I think everyone that has provided feedback so far is on board with a hybrid model. And so with that, let's go with, in that case, the 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. option on the third Fridays of every month. It will be a hybrid option. So again, you can attend virtually or in person. For those that are attending in person, we'll be announcing a location soon. We are expecting somewhere in Sacramento, California, and we're working this secure location. And just note too, for January, knowing that everyone's coming back from holidays, we are proposing that the January meeting be virtual only, just to protect each of our health in case of transmission during in-person meetings. And then we'll begin our hybrid option starting in March.
And I think, Wilson, you meant every other month. You said every month, but every other month, correct?
Yeah. Thank you. Definitely every other month. Every month would be too draining. Rita, I do see your hand up.
Yes, for the 10 to 2 meetings, were you planning to have like a lunch break or something?
Great question. Yes. So the lunch break is going to be around 11:30 or 12 o'clock. And yes, that would be the lunch break time. So the meeting itself is approximately 3 hours, and then a lunch will be an hour. Okay. If no other thoughts or feedback, we'll go ahead and send this calendar out to everybody. We'll finalize it, and then we'll also send out the meeting invitations So that way it's all on our calendars beginning in January. Okay, let me go and stop sharing my screen. The next item on our list is our orientation. Everyone had received the orientation materials by email and encouraged to review outside of this orientation. Just a note too, that for today, we won't be going in depth of all the orientation materials, just kind of high level overview and seeing if you have any questions regarding each section of the briefing kit and other materials that were provided. It's also important to explain that this committee is actually not bound to any formal meeting rules as other state advisory committee meetings or committees. But we do want to have that balance of kind of formality and also flexibility for our members. And so for that reason, we will be going over some motions that we typically use, and we'll also go through some of the accommodations that we provide as well, to make sure that everyone is able to access these meetings. So if you have any feedback, please provide those feedback to us so that we continue improving our meetings and our committee. Without further ado, I will share my screen again. One moment. While I'm trying to figure out how to share my screen again, it's frozen. I just want to open up, see if anyone has any questions. Okay. In that case, let me share my screen.
You have a raised hand.
Oh, I'm sorry. I think I heard Carl first. So Carl, did you have a comment?
No, I just was saying the ones
No, I just was saying there was a hand up.
Thank you, Carl. I do see Darlene's hand up. Darlene?
I just wanted to thank you, Wilson, for the briefing kit. I found it all very interesting. And in looking over the charter, and maybe I'm jumping the gun and you're going to get to it, but I was interested when we were talking about the meeting, modes. In the charter, there is listed 5 work groups. And I was just curious if you're going to go over those work groups and how new members can be involved with those and how those take place. That was my question.
Terrific question, Darlene. And we're gonna address it during the work plan agenda item. And so I'll actually, if you don't mind, I'll save it for that point. If
Sure.
that's okay. Okay.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Any other, I am right now displaying the ADRC briefing kit on my screen, but I do want to check to see if there's any other questions on the other orientation materials that were sent out to the committee, if you have any questions. No? Clear as mud? Okay, so the briefing kit that was sent out, it's pretty bulky, and we're hoping, so we'll have an opportunity to just give a high-level overview of the 5 sections that are in the briefing kit. And then as we go through each section, feel free to unmute or raise your hand if you have any questions regarding each section. But before we do that, I do see Ramon's hand up. Ramon?
I just want to find out, how do we get into the work groups? Do you pick them for us, or do we volunteer, or how does that go?
That's a great question. And we're going to cover that during our work plan part of the meeting. So hold that thought, Ramon, and we'll be sure to cover that as well. Okay, so for the briefing kit in section 1, we have areas that cover the vision. So we have the California Master Plan for Aging that's in this kit that Director DeMorris had mentioned about earlier. We also have our CDA strategic plan, as well as our ADRC strategic plan. So the ADRC strategic plan is a guide, basically a guide for us for achieving a statewide local ADRC partnerships in every county. And also it serves as a stepping stone for establishing a statewide long-term services and supports no wrong door system. So hopefully you got a chance to review those strategic plans and the master plan. I think it's important to note too that this advisory committee helps advance the ADRC strategic plan and contributes to the overall master plan for aging by helping with identifying and implementing strategies to strengthen, sustain, and expand the ADRC no wrong door model throughout the state. We'll actually be covering a little bit preview for later on during our work plan discussion. We'll be covering more about how the committee develops its work plan to contribute toward the advancement of our ADRC strategic plan. With that, I'll stop here for section 1. Were there any questions about this section before we move forward? Okay, so section 2 starts on page 61. And this part covers what is ADRC. So we have a section about the history and background of ADRC. Here we also have a couple orientation or training videos. There's a 2-minute version as well as a 45-minute version that's very helpful in orienting you to ADRC. In this section, we also have the coverage map, which I will fast forward to 67, page 67. That shows you the areas that we currently have emerging ADRCs, which are the ones in development. And it also shows the designated ADRCs, which are the partnerships that are approved as a fully established ADRC partnership. In this section, we also have our service functions and fundamental concepts of ADRC, as well as funding sources. And last but not least, our designation criteria, which is what we use to determine whether a local partnership has met the requirements to become a established ADRC partnership. I will stop there for section 2 to see if there's any questions about this section or anything in here. Okay.
Wilson?
Next we, oh, go ahead.
Oh,
I'm sorry,
Wilson,
Darlene. Hi.
this is Darlene. I do have a question about Part E, the funding sources. I was reading over the material on that, and I know that the ADRC infrastructure grants are still active. And in the second bullet, it says that $10 million in fiscal year 2022 and beyond. But my concern has to do with in mid-November, the governor announced that the state tax revenues are down. And that means that there's like a state budget decline. So I was curious, will that affect our budget?
So I'm going to queue up Mark Beckley if you have a few words to say. But before Mark chimes in, my understanding is it doesn't. I think what you're mentioning, Darlene, is that the state is forecasted to have a budget deficit for fiscal year 23-24. And my understanding is that that won't affect the 10 million that ADRC infrastructure grants would be receiving. However, correct me if I'm wrong, Mark. I think you know more about this.
Yeah, this is Mark. We have not heard anything about any reductions to the ADRC program. With budget situations, we can't speak to what might happen in the future, but at this point, we haven't heard any indications of any potential reductions.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Darlene, for the great question. Okay, section 3, we have our outlining the CDA staff support. So we included the CDA organization chart. We also have our ADRC Bureau staff bios, as well as our contact list in case you need to reach us. The CDA staff will be supporting the committee administratively to help with meeting logistics, work group meeting logistics, as well as helping with development of the agenda for the committee. I'll stop there to see if there's any questions regarding Section 3 CDA staff support. Okay. Section 4, about the advisory committee. So we have our membership roster, which we've provided to the group, as well as the charter that's in this section. Any questions about either one? Okay. Last section, so about Section 5, additional resources. In case you're interested, we did provide some guidance on where to find additional information that's located on our ADRC website. There's a lot of information there, including information about our advisory committee meetings. Prior to each meeting, we will be posting the agenda and any supplemental meeting materials on the website. So you can, we'll also be sending out directly to each of our members as well. And so if you're curious about, what kind of meeting materials and what things were discussed in previous meetings, you can feel free to check out the website and see all of that. Any questions on Section 5? Okay, I'm going to stop sharing my screen. That concludes our the briefing kit review. If no other questions, we'll go ahead and move forward to the motions. So in general, our committee has two different general motions. One is a motion to approve an action item or decision. And two is motion to adjourn or break. Again, since this isn't we don't have to follow any formal requirements for this committee, those are the two that we primarily use. Does the committee have any thoughts on any other motions that would be that you think would be useful for us to consider? Okay. So if nothing, we'll go ahead and stick with our two motions, keep it nice and simple. Let's see. We're breezing through this, so thank you. Next, we have our travel. I did want to mention that since we are offering, we're doing hybrid meetings again beginning in March. For those that would be attending these meetings in person, we do offer travel reimbursement for those that, again, are traveling to these in-person meetings. And that includes flights, rental car, lodging, and also meal reimbursement, depending as applicable. I won't go into the details of what's applicable at this time. However, our partners at the Department of Healthcare Services will be supporting our committee members with coordinating and booking the travel, and handling any travel expenses, travel expense reimbursements. You'll be hearing directly from Department of Healthcare Services representative. Her name is Charity Swan, and she'll be reaching out to all members with additional information prior to the first hybrid meeting again in March. Any questions about travel? The travel option?
Sorry, Wilson, these would all be in Sacramento, correct?
That's correct, yes.
Okay.
Okay, so more information to come. I am looking at the chat, and my apologies, I haven't really had the chance to multitask and look at the chat. I did see a comment from Elaine about, you mentioned 2 of the staff have left. We'll update a staff contact list. Yes, we actually had 2 staff members depart, 1 retirement, 1 promotion. And so we'll be updating the briefing kit. And what we found with the briefing kit is there's always continuous updates that are needed. And so we'll do that as we have more updates come along. But hopefully on a more regular basis and not, knowing that there's a lot of updates. So the second comment I'm seeing from Ramon is we're not covered by Bagley-Keene. We are not required to follow Bagley-Keene. However, again, just the balance of that formality and also flexibility for a committee, we are open to it. It's just, I think our committee has just been more of a conversational, and we're trying to keep it as informal as possible, however, still providing structure for the committee members. Hopefully that answers.
Wilson, we have a hand up from Andrea.
Thank you. Andrea? Hi.
Yes, hi, thanks. I just had a quick question. Considering hybrid, can you give us any sense of the schedule given 10 to 2, those of us who might be joining virtually instead, how to plan for that time? Because I don't know if that's a full 4 hours or are you taking a lunch break? Any insight on that is great. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Andrea. And so we are anticipating that the meeting will be approximately 3 hours with an hour lunch. The lunch we're anticipating will be around 11:30 to 12, somewhere either starting at 11:30 or starting at 12. If there's a preference for everybody, we'll be sure to go with that. Does anyone have a preference that we want to just stick with that specific time, or is everyone okay with flexing between 11:30 and 12?
I think for in-person people, it's probably easy to say we can flex and it could be 11:30 or 12. But for people that would be there in the hybrid version, might be a little unfair that they wouldn't know, and then they could plan the rest of the afternoon. So maybe sticking to a hard time.
Sure. How does 12 to 1 for lunch sound? Does that sound okay? I do want to quickly ask Mylene, sorry to put you on the spot. Was there any restrictions? So based on the interpreters and the captioners that we may be bringing on for our meetings, was there any restrictions on whether it would be beneficial for us to do 11:30 or 12 o'clock?
I don't think so, especially since we're going to be having 2. And as long as we let them know ahead of time, it should be fine.
Got it. Okay. Okay. So if no objections, we can do 12 to 1 as our lunchtime. Sorry, Letty, you have your hand raised, you're waving to somebody. Oh, thank you. Okay.
Sorry, people are leaving the office and I'm saying bye to them.
Got it. Okay, so the next item we have is accommodations. So by default, we have a captioning, auto captioning that's offered by Zoom. We also have our American Sign Language interpreters in here with this meeting and also for every committee meeting. And we don't typically default have other language interpreters. However, we're more than happy to provide that by request. So I just want to kind of stop here at this moment, knowing that we have default, again, captioning service and American Sign Language interpreters. Are there any other accommodations that would be helpful for this committee?
I just want to assume that if people are not comfortable looking up in a big group, they can approach ADRC.
I just want to assume that if people are not comfortable speaking up in the big group, they can approach ADRC staff.
Thank you, Carl. You read my mind exactly. I was going to say that if you have any feedback that you would like to express for us, please reach out to me or our general ADRC mailbox. That's adrc@aging.ca.gov. And let us know. We want to, again, make this meeting as accessible as possible for everybody, members and also committee members and also members of the public. So please do let us know. Okay, I think we can move forward to the work plan. I think we had a couple questions regarding the work plan earlier. Let me share my screen again. Put that in here. Okay, let me just get a thumbs up when you can see this work plan document. Showing up kind of skewed for me, and I'm not sure why. Is it looking normal for everybody on your screen? It's not, okay. Weird, okay. Let me try sharing my screen again. Give me one moment, please. For some reason, it's not loading properly. So knowing that everyone has gotten a copy of the work plan, I won't share my screen. However, hopefully, so the work plan that was provided to everybody, that was the 2022 work plan with the previous class of our advisory committee members. And so we provided the work plan as well as a progress report, just to give you kind of samples of what it will look like. So describing the work plan is basically the committee's work plan based on the ADRC strategic plan. And it is used as a tool for the committee in partnership with CDA and DOR to really identify areas of focus and deliverables and accomplishments. So there will be, each work group will be assigned its own specific areas of focus and deliverables from the work plan. And to answer earlier questions, I think from Ramon regarding the work groups, there in the charter, there are 5 work groups, but only 3 of them are active at all times. Those active ones are training, data and outcomes, and sustainability. So those are going to be the 3 work groups that are 19 members will be assigned to a specific work group based on the preferences that you had mentioned to us during your interviews. So we recorded all of that. And so we'll make sure we try to match it to your preference as well as your expertise. And we'll be working with our committee chairs to figure out where would be the best fit. Essentially, for each work group, we ideally would like to have a representative in each work group. So we would like to have a area agency on aging, an independent living center, a caregiver consumer, as well as our other long-term services and support representatives in each work group. So that way we could kind of balance it out and get the expertise from each of our members. I'll stop there for a moment. Does that make sense? And any questions? Okay. Oh, hi, Darlene.
Hi, Wilson. Yes, that makes sense. So thank you for explaining it. And so we'll wait to hear from you and the co-chairs in terms of which one of the 3 work groups will be assigned to.
Yes. That's
Okay,
correct.
great. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Darlene. Great question. In your orientation materials, we also provided what we call a progress report. So this is, it almost sounds kind of like a school progress report. It's nothing like that. It's we call it progress report. It's essentially a tool for our work groups to track the progress of their deliverables and accomplishments and reporting those accomplishments to the full committee every other month when we do meet as a full committee. And also this progress report also provides insight on the current work group activities that are going on. So it's just a kind of a tracker document that we use. In terms of next steps is kind of what Darlene had mentioned is we will be following up with our chairs to establish the timeline and the action plan for developing the committee work plan. And then we'll also be matching our committee members with specific work groups and also creating the work group chairs. So there will be at least one chair for each of the work groups as well. Keep in mind too that our work plan, the committee work plan, is slated to start July 1st. It will be matching up with our state fiscal year. So we have about half a year to for us to get acquainted with the work plan, with the ADRC strategic plan, and then putting it together and have it be fully implemented with our work groups by July 1st. So more information to come on that. I did want to note too that in the past we didn't have a committee work plan, but we have had it for the last couple years as we found a lot of value in having a work plan just to kind of give structure to our committee, and that way we can all see what we're working towards, that common goal. So just want to kind of give a little bit of that background. Any questions before we move on to open discussions? Cindy, I see your hand up.
Yeah, I noticed that there were a few deliverables that are due at the end.
Oh, sorry, Cindy. I think your mic went on mute halfway through. So, oh, it's still on mute now.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that. I noticed there were some deliverables that are due at 12/31, and I was wondering if those will be complete or if they'll carry on to the next year.
That's a great question. And so our current work groups with the current committee is wrapping up their deliverables. And so what they'll be, so this progress report will actually be updated for the new committee coming in January. And so as part of that update, what these the current members will be providing is, what they've accomplished, and then also recommendations for our new committee work groups to consider to move forward in 2023. So more to come on that, and that's a great eye from you. Thank you. Any other questions? Let's see, is there a standard intake form for recording initial calls to ADRCs? Ramon, did you want to elaborate on that a little bit more? Your question in the chat about a standard intake
Well, I
form?
was just trying to get the jump on the open discussion part, and that was one basic question I had. I know in the state of Florida, there's a standard form, and all the ADRCs have it. And the same set of questions they ask everybody who calls in on an initial call. I wanted to know if we have something like that in California.
To my awareness, not at this time. I think there's been initiatives in the past to try to have some sort of a standard intake form that combines different major programs. However, that hasn't been successful. And if there's any members, advisory committee members that have more insight on this, please feel free to chime in. But it is on our radar when we do develop a state, what we call a state no wrong door system. That is going to be one of the big items that this no wrong door body will be tackling. So more to come on that, but not at this time that I've known of, Ramon.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions or just any other topics that you feel would be helpful for us to discuss? Okay. So feel free again to reach out if you have any questions. Reach out to me at wilson.tam@aging.ca.gov, or again to our general ADRC mailbox, which is adrc@aging.ca.gov. Prior to our meeting in January, we will be sending out the agenda after working out the agenda with our chairs, and as well as the other meeting materials. So I do look forward to seeing you all again in January. Until then, I hope you all have a happy holidays, however you celebrate, and we'll see you in the new year. I can finally say, see you next year. corny joke, but it works. Thank you all.
Thanks.
Happy holidays to everybody.